Good evening. This is Duane Lowry for the DPP Grain Desk on Sunday, December 15th. It is currently 2:32 in the afternoon. The outlook here tonight is going to be pretty much near steady. We may see some trade on both sides, but we're going to have selling coming at this market from fundamental sectors and technical sectors after last week's performance. We don't have much for news. South American weather forecasts are generally favorable and acceptable. The traders are building confidence each week that goes by that we're going to have record soybean yields in South America and a very abundant supply globally. And I think that the market last week had an opportunity to focus on near-term demand. Price action did not respond well to those near-term demand news, and I think that means that the market is shifting away from any focus on near-term demand and focus primarily and probably soon to be solely on South American production prospects, which at the present time we have to recognize as being potential for record production there and very abundant supplies. That does not speak well for the ability of the soybean market to maintain current price levels and current premiums that are quoted versus gut slot South American export window. So producers need to be, like we talked about last week, very, very aggressive in seeking price protection strategies on beans. I think cash sales here are a good opportunity. Basis levels are good. Downside risk has to be respected at being at least $1 from current levels if South American weather stays good. And I understand there's always a concern about making sales here in beans because as soon as you make the sales, South American weather changes and prices rally and you missed out on that. I understand that, but I think that when you look at the 2-week outlook and the weather, the fact that we don't have a concern at the present time, I think you have to give more weight to being concerned about the downside risk than you have to giving weight about missed opportunities just because you make a sale. As far as corn is concerned, we don't have anything much in front of us for positive news. The January USDA reports are expected to be bearish. Continue to have problems with exporting corn to China. That hasn't had a day-to-day impact on prices, but it is a concern for sure. The corn market had an opportunity to rally. We got 20-some cent rally over the last few weeks, but all things considered, that was a very, very poor performance, and the window to build upon that rally, I think, is pretty much closed. If there's any doubt about that, it shouldn't be after Friday's performance. So I think you got to be looking at protecting corn sales as well. I think the decision to make corn sales here, again, like we talked about last week, should not be based on the fact that you like the current prices. Nobody likes the current prices. The decision to make a corn sale has to be compared to waiting. And if you look at it honestly, over the next 3 to 4 months, there's a very real chance that no sale in the next 3 or 4 months will be better than today's. And if that's true, you have to recognize, well, how much weaker could we get? 20 to 30 cents lower in corn would be nothing. To say that if you wanted to give a more full picture of what downside risk here is in corn, I think you'd have to be reasonable and say you got 50 cents of downside risk between now and early spring. And that's not a pretty picture to be in. And I don't think that a guy wants to hold too much inventory here after having a poor attempt at a winter rally here over the last couple of weeks. I think the risk here is too great. If you're carrying a large amount of unsold inventory, you got to take a serious hard look at evaluating how much risk you want to carry here, especially if you're holding on to both corn and soybeans. So look for weakness tonight, look for weakness this week. We may trade a little bit higher than Friday's close at some point early this week, but these recovery bounces will be minimal. Your selling interest is going to build from multiple sectors of the trade. You can make an argument that there won't be a lot of selling because of the holiday, possibly true, but I think it's more important to say that there won't be a lot of buying activity. And so I think you got not a very pleasant picture in front of us here, and you got to find ways to try to protect revenues that are currently offered. Take a look at the DPP system, look at the bids offered. I think you'll find some cash bids that are good, and I think if you look at basis and price in relationship to what your downside risk is, I think you'll find that there's maybe opportunities here to make some sales. For the DPP Grain Desk, this is Duane Lowry. Thank you.